Mr. Burrell, you are definitely a trendsetter. You're definitely someone that people are starting to get to know even better. So I want to thank you so much for being on the interview with me today. How are you?
I'm well, Jinnie. Thanks for having me.
Great,
Pleasure
great.
to finally get on the line with you and
I
make this happen.
know. It's been kind of goofy and busy, but it's good to always connect. You have just completed an amazing reality show called Raising Asia, and you played a phenomenal role. It ended very well for her. But tell me a little bit about you and who you are. Just kind of Anthony Burrell. What is it that you want people to know?
My name is Anthony Burrell. I'm a dancer first, um, out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Started dancing at the age of 12 through a community center-based organization, Point Breeze Performing Arts Center in Philly, and basically got my start through dance by fluke. It's just one of those things that just kind of fell into my lap. Um, and I use that a lot, like, because everything that has basically happened has basically fell into my lap. So from being from Philadelphia, I've got a lot of opportunities, being a male dancer there. So went to University of the Arts, college for University for the Arts. While I attended my first year at University of the Arts, um, I ran into Judith Jamison, artistic director of Alvin American Dance Theater at the time, and she invited me personally for the company's audition. Audition for her. I didn't make it into the big company at that time, but she got me into the junior company, Alvin Ailey 2, which was still a blessing because I wound up doing a year in the junior company of Ailey 2, then being accepted into her company, Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, the following year. I stayed in Ailey for about 3 or 4 years as a principal dancer and got a call from one of my dance idols, Desmond Richardson, who's a dance, phenom for the black modern dance world. Called me and told me Beyonce's choreographer was looking for guys that were 6 feet. And in the dance world, like that's very slim to none. Like you very peak 5'10" for guys in the dance world. So
Why is
I,
that?
I they're just hobbits. They're just really short guys.
So tell me about that kid from South Philly. What is one of the things in your life that really stands out? Um, and it could be anything, but usually what happens is that somewhere along the way, something has happened that fuels our motivation.
Ignited that fire.
Ignited that fire, continues to fuel it. Or
Yeah.
as we started that journey, something knocks us down and sometimes we doubt if we're going to even get back up. What was that event for you or series of events?
It would have to, as a kid, um my actually I never really I come from a single family home. Was raised by my mom, and at a young age, that's in the 80s. I was an 80s baby, and then like early like mid 80s, that's when the whole crack epidemic came around, and it attacked or sucked in my parents, my mother, which who was my primary caregiver, and it just kind of took her life and turned it inside out. And as the oldest son, I witnessed that. I witnessed her deteriorate. I witnessed her like change from this beautiful young woman that I was so proud of. When how as a kid, your mom would come to your school and they're like, your friends were like, oh, your mom is cute. Like, oh, she became that mom till, and then she changed to this woman that I barely recognized. Her weight changed, her facial structure changed, and she was just a different person. And I saw that deterioration over over you know 6 years, and that in itself made me realize, like, okay, this is not the life Anthony wants to live. Because she wasn't the only person that I saw this happen to. It was just in the neighborhood in South Philly. It was like the night of the living dead. Like you just saw people walking around like zombies with their eyes bugged about their head, walking fast, and you don't really know what it is until I didn't know what it was until it got me personally and hit home when it got to my mom. And my grandmother expressed to me what it was, and my grandmother comes from a very prayerful background. She's a Christian, and we will pray almost every day about this. You know, Lord, take this away from her to get this demon out of her. And I didn't still wasn't quite understanding what it was until I wanted to move back with her, and I was maybe 12 or 13, and I saw firsthand like her smoking crack in the kitchen. Like I would come downstairs and I would, she would yell, Anthony, go back upstairs, and I would, just go and peek like a bad, disobedient kid would do, and I would just look, and I would see her and her friend doing this at the kitchen table, and I'm like, whoa, you can already smell the sulfur burning from upstairs, and then me being nosy, I would just come and investigate, and I saw it firsthand for the first time, and that image is something that wrecks my brains, like still to this day, because huge. That's crazy. Yeah, it's just I see it like it was yesterday.
What do
I
you
see it like it
see?
was yesterday. Um,
So connect with that 12-year-old. Close your eyes if you need to, and that's usually a safer way. But connect with that 12-year-old and be his voice. Tell me what he sees.
I would say I saw the distance in her eyes. It wasn't like when she was talking to me. It wasn't her. It was just like that made her a different person and made her. It detached her from me. Like we were so close. I'm the oldest kid, so it detached her from me, and because that was consuming her body, it was like not that I wasn't important. It was like I wasn't as important at that time. That trumped me at that time. And it was just like, get upstairs, get the F up. Like, just like going off at me. And I'm just like, okay. And I left. And moments like that continued to happen. And, as that happened, I became more and more disrespectful. I became more and more rebellious. I became more and more closed in. I became more closed in and I became a mystery to myself because I witnessed those things. I saw those things, and I couldn't really talk to people about it because I was embarrassed. It made me self conscious. It made me feel like, my mom was a crackhead. Like you see these people with moms that are crackheads, and they don't look like my mom, but then it became my mom, and it was just like, wow, like all of that. Like I'm living this life where my mom's on drugs. I don't have the best clothes. I don't have this. I don't have, I became one of those kids that didn't have anything, because her addiction took precedent, which segued into my lifestyle, from the way that I dress, from not having the Michael Jordan sneakers, not having, uh, you know, just the luxury things that I had prior before this crack addiction hit. And I, and I know that's my driving force of me becoming successful and me being able to achieve the things that I've achieved because I saw where I didn't want to. I saw where I didn't want to go. I saw what I didn't want to become. And I just pushed myself and I dug myself out of this hole, when I say hole, South Philly. And once I got my first opportunity to travel to Australia, I realized this is what I'm made to do because I can make money traveling, seeing the world, and connects me to other people. Connecting with those other people allowed me to see like it's a whole world out here other than the world that I was living in South Philly that could change me. That could change not only me, but could change my family if I can get my family out of this hole. It's like a time warp. Even now, when I go back to Philadelphia, it's it's sad because I feel like, it's for people of color, African Americans, we're unprogressive. It's and for some reason, like you see the Europeans and the Republicans thriving in the city that's, you know, it's a great city, especially for the arts. But it's just like we're not thriving as a people in Philadelphia, and it makes me really sad. And I want to give back. I want to find a way to go back to Philadelphia and maybe open up the school that I was in that closed down recently. But it's just hard. Like there's really no resources for the arts in Philly right now.
So let me ask you something, Anthony. I want you to go back to that 12-year-old, okay? The the 12-year-old when he was peeking around the corner and he
Hmm.
saw his mom because he was in his room, smelled the sulfur. When you first saw your mom, what did you really see? Stay with that 12-year-old. Close your eyes. Just try it for me for a few moments and stay with that 12-year-old. What did he see? The first thing that comes to your mind.
I would say it's more ghostly, more like a spirit, because it wasn't her.
So
It
he
wasn't
saw a
her.
ghost.
The expression in her face, like her eyes being big, one bigger than the other. It just wasn't the person that raised me, the person that you know I grew. I shared 9 months in her womb. It wasn't that woman.
So
You
what
know, the
was it?
crack, the crack. I don't know. It just made her different. If I can't find the word to, it just made her. It wasn't her. It wasn't my mom. It wasn't the woman that birthed me. It wasn't the woman that gave me, you know, like she would. My mom is like I'm the oldest, but yet I'm the most bulliest child. She would protect me through anything at that point in time. And at that time, it's just like I didn't matter. I don't know. It's just like it was like a stranger. She was a stranger, a
And when
complete
you
stranger.
and when you felt like you didn't matter, what did that say about you? I am. What negative connotation or what negative conclusion did you draw about yourself when you realized I didn't matter as much as this crack? That means I am.
It almost make you feel as if like I'm non-existent. Am I worthy? Am I less than that valve that was there? Was I? You know, I mean, at this point in time now, I know I am. After speaking with her in her sobriety, like I know at that point in time, she allowed that to take over her life,
So we're gonna
and every
we're gonna push pause because I want to stay with this moment just a little longer before we go into the
okay,
cognitive piece. Is that okay with you?
yeah, that's fine.
So before we shift over into the cognitive piece, you said that when you saw her, you saw a stranger, a ghost. You didn't see your mom because your mom would have done anything for you. She had your back in her sobriety. That was your mom, the one that was always there. So when you saw her in the kitchen, that was a stranger. It was this ghost. And when she was yelling at you, get the fuck back upstairs, get the fuck out of here, the negative conclusion you made at 12 was, I am unworthy. I am less than crack. I am non existent. What conclusion, what, what conclusion did you make about how you would behave?
I was rebellious because I mean, that was my way of getting attention. When you like when you act out, I mean, what I did, I acted out. I got, was bad in school, disrespecting the teachers. This is all in fifth grade, and I
Hmm.
got actually got left back. Actually got left back a year in school because of me, my cry out for attention, my cry out for help
You, so
was
you,
me
hmm
was me being disruptive. Was me, because that was the only way that I would get attention by the principals, by the teachers in school.
what did
You
you
know,
want them to pay attention to?
I didn't know. I just had attention, that love. I don't know. It felt like they were caring,
So
and
that's the attention you wanted, love. You wanted
yes,
someone to
yeah, it was
show
all.
that I
It's all.
care.
It's always love. It was always like love, and I think that's why I'm I feel right now. I feel with my heart so much, and I'm so in tune with people. Is because like I know how I want to feel, and I know how I want to be treated. And I didn't at that. I wasn't feeling the love because it wasn't there for me at that point in time. It wasn't.
Yes.
Getting sent to the counselor's office, and just that person, that counselor talking to you, and that counselor, when you go to the counselor office, or you go to the principal office a certain amount of times, you're definitely going to go to the counselor office so they can evaluate you and see what could the possible problem be. And sitting, I remember Miss Williams to this day, my counselor at middle school, and I would and then she would start to ask me, well, what do you like doing? Well, what do you like? She would investigate those things, and she would try and figure out the root of my problem. And she's the one that got me into dancing. She's the one that got like directed me to that route. Because I would dance in a little dance group, but she noticed, and she listened. I guess she was there to listen, to kind of navigate those thoughts and say, okay, well, since you like dancing so much, maybe you should try this, or maybe you should try that. And there was a dance group in the school. She put me in. I did that, which ended up being into another dance group. So she kind of like shaped. I never really thought about her shaping that and getting to the bottom of why. But Miss Williams definitely like kind of guided me to those things that she saw me gravitating towards.
Now, after making the connections with, for example, Miss Williams, and after realizing that that 12-year-old saw a ghost, saw
I
a
mean,
stranger.
I remember those details, but some of those details I block out because those vivid memories sometimes uh, they hurt. They hurt, and then and yeah, they hurt. But it's just like I I'm not a performer right now. I'm not. I'm a choreographer. I'm on reality shows situation. I'm not really as a concert ballet dancer, modern dancer, where I can be interpretive and connect with those emotions and those feelings. That's when I can dig deep and think about those emotions and feelings that bother me deeply. But other than that, I block them out because yeah, I feel like they can either take a negative turn or a positive turn. Like they could have that effect on me because that's how deeply I connect with those emotions and those feelings and those thoughts and those visuals.
So, what are you afraid of when you say, I'm afraid that, it could take a negative turn, it could be positive or negative?
I'm afraid of basically everything that happened to me. I'm afraid that like, you know, being touched as a kid, like I wouldn't even change my daughter's diaper because I'm like, someone touched me, maybe that released the molestation gene in me or something. It's like, so let her mother change her diaper. Because it's just like I just want to give her privacy as a young baby girl. That's just my daughter, but like I don't know, it's just something so sacred to me. Things that have happened to me in my mind, like I don't know, they shape me and they make me do things that I feel that it's just who I am. I won't change it, baby. I won't you know like go into hardcore drugs or anything. I smoke, but like this is like my mother always told me, oh, I can hear it clearly, like, oh, weed, you shouldn't smoke weed because weed is a gateway drug, and weed leads to alcohol, alcohol leads to weed leads to cocaine, cocaine leads to crack. Like I could hear her say that vividly in my mind, and I'm just like, so ooh, if I was to try this, and then this goes to this, and then that goes to that, like those are things that like haunt me a little bit, because I didn't want to take that same path that she took.
So, when you said you're afraid of everything happening again, what do you mean? What else happened?
Uh, just life. just those bad memories. Like I feel like in life, like history, like always repeats itself, like in different forms and shapes and fashion. But I didn't want to. I don't want to become that crackhead. I don't want to become that dependent on drugs where I just forget about life and family and how to love those people. And a lot of people depend on me. So it's like if I'm stricken by anything that's that intense, like yeah, it's just so many entities that are involved now that I know I would. Yeah, it's just crazy. Just imagine all the people all the dancers that I inspire, my family members, my daughter, like just people that look up to me. How would they, that matters how I'm perceived, because I want all my life I was something less than, and now that I'm more than, I want to remain that person that people look up to and aspire to be like, and have a role model. I don't. I want to continue to be that role model. I don't want to be that statistic that I constantly ran away from and all that.
How do you feel when you think about possibly being that statistic, possibly
I'm a
repeating?
statistic regardless of how you look at it. I'm a statistic, and no matter where I am, the thought of being that statistic, you know what? I can't even put myself in that shoe because I feel like dealing with the child molestation stuff, dealing with the drug addiction stuff, and me coming to grips with it, like me talking about it with my mom, and me talking about this with my friends, and about having those things that happened to me in my past. Like being an artist is different than being a regular person. I'm in tune with everything and every ounce and every feeling in my body. So, like, I feel those things, but I know how to go south or go north. I think that's what's so great about being an artist. Like, I'm able to use those memories and those feelings and incorporate it into my passion. Like, I can dance it for you. I don't want to go back there, but it's just like it's just hard for me to tell
Explain.
you. But I just don't want to go there. It's just some shit I can't even. I wouldn't even if it was $1 million tag attached to it. I wouldn't touch it with a pinky finger.
So you mentioned and made reference to molestation a couple times. Is
Mm-hmm.
that something that we can talk about a little bit?
Sure.
Well, you tell me.
Um, who was it? A family friend that was a neighbor across the street, younger. Well, I was probably about 8 to 12 when this was going on, and around the time my mom was gone, and I had went to move with my grandma, and a family friend would, I don't know how I would end up there if I was just playing on the street and they would invite me, and and I don't know how it would start, but I know once the molestation thing started happening, like I was threatened to not sit that they would walk me past the police station. I can laugh about it now because it's just like it's just crazy because kids just parents just don't know. Parents have no idea. Like was walked past the police station and was told, um, if you tell somebody, I'm gonna bring you right back here to this police station and have them lock you up. And I became the the like the monster at that time. Like if I tell, I'm going to be in jail. Like so throughout that whole experience, like I'm thinking I'm this bad guy for doing what I did, and you know, afraid to talk, afraid to tell people because I didn't want to go to jail. And just thinking about it, that's what makes me laugh because how in your crazy mind that you'll tell a kid, don't tell her you're gonna it's just the mind of a predator and a creep. But it's just like even like now, like even to now, certain things like certain smells, certain things remind me of that,
Yeah.
like being molested. Like just certain
Yeah.
like sweat and like just crazy things that remind me of that moment. And then it's like I talk about it all the time now because it's just like it's happening. It's common. It happened to my mom. It happened to her sisters. Like it happens to a lot of people, and a lot of people just don't talk about it. And even when my mom talks about it now, you know, she cries. She cries like profusely, and I'm just like, that really bothered you. That really has an effect on you. And I told her one on my 21st birthday because I realized like she needed to know. She needed to know. And of course, she felt like it was her fault with her drug addiction and like, her being absent and how she's so sorry. And like, that has nothing to do with you. I was living with them at that time and you can't take that blame. But, you know, it happens to a lot of people all the time. And like, that's why I'm such a stickler with my daughter. And I very rarely let her stay with people that I don't trust or I feel like I said I'm an artist, so I feel all the time. I feel any energy that's there. Like even with my mom's husband, I wouldn't allow her to stay there. I'm just like, I don't know this guy, and it's just energy that I felt.
Now, part of what's interesting is that the the awareness or the attunement or the intuition that you've described is very common with survivors of abuse. So you can feel, you can sense your artistry is heightened. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about surviving the abuse that makes us all aware. I'm a survivor. So you can feel a predator 5 miles
Mm-hmm.
away. You can
Mm-hmm.
sense when something is off.
Mm-hmm.
So what's phenomenal and just fascinating for you is how you pour that into your passion, how you express it through art, through dance, and how you are very mindful of the past. And it's not so much, it sounds like you live in the past as much as you are informed by the
I'm
past.
reminded. It's a reminder.
Yeah. And you use that to protect your daughter. You use that to try to help other people. That is the framework, it sounds like, for your purpose. It's to inspire others. As a consequence, I don't think you set out to do that, but
Yeah.
as a result, you keep that at
With the
the very,
passion of it.
yeah,
Yeah.